Hey folks! Today I'm going to show you something super cool. We're going to figure out if a project is making us the big bucks or just burning a hole in our pocket. So here's the deal. I'm planning to open a pizzeria, and I want to show you how I figure out the value of all the cash flowing in and out of this business. Let me pull up this magic spreadsheet. There it is. Now imagine this. I'm planning to open a pizzeria, and opening that pizzeria requires an investment of $30. On top of that, I'm expecting to have an annual profit of $5 every single year. Sounds good so far, right? But here's the twist. If I open the pizzeria and take out a loan of $30 to cover the investment, I'll have to pay interest to the bank. Let's say, for this example, that the interest rate is 4%. Here's what I've done in the spreadsheet. For each period, which in this case basically means each year, I've laid out the expected cash flow. So we have year 0, which is today. Then we've got year 1, year 2, and so on, all the way up until year 8. I'm assuming that by the end of year 8, the pizzeria shuts down, and that's why the timeline stops there. Now, today, right at year 0, I have to make that initial investment of $30. That's why in the spreadsheet, I've connected my formula to the value I entered in cell B1 and added a minus sign, because this money is leaving my pocket. An investment means cash is going out, not coming in, so it's important that the spreadsheet reflects that. Starting from year 1, though, I'm expecting a positive cash flow of $5, which represents my annual profit. And every single year after that, right up until year 8, I'll continue to have a positive cash flow of $5. That's exactly what I've built into the spreadsheet. All the formulas are linked so that every single year shows that same positive amount. Now, here's the big question. Will these future cash flows actually compensate me for the investment I'm making today? We need to keep something very important in mind here. Money today is not the same as money in the future. If I have $5 today, I can invest them in the bank and earn interest, which means they can grow into more money over time. But if I only get those $5 5 or 6 years from now, they're worth less to me in today's terms. So, the further away those cash flows are, the less value they have today. To figure out exactly how much they're worth in today's money, I'm going to use the NPV formula in Excel. Here's how the formula works. The NPV function takes all the future cash flows from year 1 up until the end of the timeline and discounts them based on the interest rate to figure out what they're worth right now. It tells me the value of those future cash flows in today's dollars. Let me walk you through what I did. In the first part of the formula, I always enter the interest rate, which in my spreadsheet comes from the value I put in cell B3. Then I add a comma. After that, I highlight all the cells that show the cash flows starting from year 1, not year 0, but from year 1 onwards, and select them until the very end of my timeline. Then I close the brackets. After I get that result, I also add the cash flow at year 0, today's investment, to the result from the NPV formula. That's because the formula itself only calculates the value of future cash flows. So we need to manually include what's happening right now. Now let's look at what the spreadsheet tells me. My calculated NPV is positive $3.66. That means that in today's money, Even after accounting for the fact that future cash flows are worth less than today's, I'm still making a profit of $3.66. Based on that, I should definitely go ahead with this business. But let's test what happens if interest rates change. If the interest rate goes up to 6%, my NPV drops to just $1.05. And if the interest rate rises to 9%, the NPV becomes negative, which means I'd actually be losing money. In that case, I shouldn't move forward with the pizzeria at all. One last thing to notice here, my NPV updates automatically whenever I change the interest rate. That happens because all of my formulas are linked to the assumption cells. In this case, there are 3 key assumption cells in the spreadsheet. Since all the formulas are connected to those cells, anytime I update the assumptions, the final results adjust themselves immediately. And that's the whole process. By setting up the spreadsheet this way, I can instantly see whether opening the pizzeria is a good idea or not, just by adjusting my inputs.